The Grand Conclave drifts above the neutral world of Alaris 7, a living station grown from crystal and coral, its petals glowing soft aquamarine against the starfield. Every species in the known galaxy has sent delegates. They have come to beg. Inside the central dome, 1,000 alien voices fall silent as the human envoy, Captain Marcus Reaper Kane, Terran Diplomatic Corps, steps onto the speaking ring. His black dress uniform carries no medals, only the faint scorch marks of a dozen boarding actions. The High Arbiter, a luminous being of pure energy, projects one final plea in perfect unison across every language. Humanity is invited to join the Eternal Accord. Lay down arms. Accept the Pax Galactica. End your preparations. Marcus looks at the sea of alien faces, some pleading, some terrified, all certain they have won. He taps the data slate in his hand. A single word appears in burning red across every hollow in the conclave. No. The dome erupts in chaos. Marcus turns on his heel and walks out. Behind him, the galaxy's greatest peace summit dissolves into panic. He boards a sleek courier shuttle and punches for the edge of the system. Mission complete. Deliver humanity's answer in person. As the shuttle clears the station, alarms scream. A crippled refugee frigate limps across his path, engines dead, broadcasting a distress beacon in 17 frequencies. Its escort, supposedly neutral peacekeepers, veer away without slowing. Marcus's pilot glances back. Orders say ignore civilian traffic, sir. Marcus is already moving. My orders just changed. He docks hard, cuts through the airlock, and sprints through corridors filled with dying refugees. In the med bay he finds her, a Zyri female, skin like liquid mercury, 6 delicate tendrils instead of hair, eyes the color of dying nebulae. She is the last survivor, bleeding out on the deck while the ship's AI begs for help no one will give. Marcus drops to his knees, slaps a trauma patch on the worst wound, and scoops her into his arms. Her eyes flutter open. Human. Yeah, he growls, running for the shuttle as the frigate begins to break apart. And in the first 25 seconds of meeting you, Princess, we just hooked up in the middle of the galaxy's biggest mistake. She laughs once, weak, stunned, beautiful, and the sound rings like a war bell across the silent stars. Behind them, the conclave watches in horror as the human who just said no to peace carries the galaxy's future in his arms. The courier shuttle screams away from the dying frigate, engines redlining. Marcus has the Zyri woman, her name is Lyris, she whispers, cradled against his chest while the autodock sprays coagulant foam over wounds that look like claw marks from something with too many mouths. Alarms howl. Conclave peacekeeper interceptors, sleek silver arrows, lock weapons. They're firing on a diplomatic shuttle, the pilot snarls. They just saw me say no, Marcus answers, voice flat. They're making a statement. Lyris coughs silver blood. They'll kill us both to prove the accord is unbreakable. Marcus meets her nebula eyes. Then we break it harder. He slams the shuttle into a wild spiral, dodging plasma lances that turn vacuum into violet fire. The pilot weaves like a demon. Marcus straps Lyris into the crash couch and mans the dorsal turret himself. He shoots like a man who never learned the meaning of restraint. 2 interceptors bloom into silent flowers of debris. Lyris watches him, wonder cutting through pain. Your species was offered peace. You chose war. Peace built on graves isn't peace, Marcus says, lining up another shot. It's just quiet genocide. A lance grazes the hull. The shuttle tumbles. Gravity fails. Marcus unstraps, floats to her, cups her face with blood-slick hands. Hold on, Princess. I'm getting you out of this. She touches the Terran insignia on his collar, a silver planet cracked in half. Why risk everything for one Zyri? He grins, all teeth and zero apology. Because humanity's answer to bullies has always been the same, not today. The last interceptor closes for the kill. Marcus kisses her once, hard, desperate, tasting of copper and defiance, then slams the throttle himself. They punch into fold space a heartbeat before the torpedo hits, leaving the conclave fleet screaming at empty stars. Somewhere behind them, the galaxy realizes the word no just became the most dangerous sound in the universe. They drop out of fold space in the Graveyard Nebula, a dead zone where light itself goes to die. Shattered hulks drift like frozen screams, remnants of species that once said no to the Eternal Accord. The Conclave calls it a warning. Humans call it motivation. The shuttle limps to a halt inside the hollowed-out husk of a pre-Accord dreadnought. Autodock lights flicker over Lyris. Her mercury skin is dull, tendrils limp. Marcus carries her to the dreadnought's core, a cathedral-sized chamber where a single Zyre memory crystal still glows, ancient and cracked. Ghostlight dances across walls etched with warnings in 100 extinct languages. Lyris's eyes widen. A soul anchor. My people used these to bind minds before the Accord outlawed it. It can heal me and link us forever. Marcus lays her on the crystal dais. How forever are we talking? Until the stars burn out, she whispers. You'll feel my pain. I'll carry your rage. No secrets. No escape. He slices his palm without hesitation, presses it to hers. Silver and red blood mingle on the crystal. Already said no to the galaxy today, he growls. Might as well say yes to you. She sings. The note is low, aching, older than suns. The soul anchor flares violet-white. Memories flood both ways. Marcus sees Zyre worlds glassed for refusing the Accord, children herded into conversion camps. Lyris sees Earth's colonies quietly erased, human ships vanishing one by one while the Conclave smiled and called it pacification. Pain detonates behind their eyes, then cools into perfect sync. Wounds knit. Hearts lock. A lattice of violet-silver light webs between their chests. When the light fades, Lyris stands whole, tendrils glowing like nebulae. Marcus stands taller, veins traced with living starlight. Conclave hunter-killers drop out of fold behind them, 12 cruisers, weapons hot. Lyris turns, for tendrils flaring like wings of liquid night. They followed us, she says, voice layered with both their fury. Marcus cracks his knuckles, grinning like a wolf that just found the henhouse door open. Good. Saves me the trouble of hunting them. The soul anchor hums, ready to sing again, this time for war. The graveyard nebula lights up like Judgment Day. 12 Conclave cruisers, sleek, iridescent, bristling with lance arrays, form a perfect killbox around the dead dreadnought. Their commander, Archon Vale 9, broadcasts on open channel, voice smooth as poison silk. Captain Kane. Surrender the Zyre criminal and yourself. The Accord offers mercy. Marcus stands on the dreadnought's shattered bridge, Lyris at his side, violet-silver lattice blazing between them. He keys the mic. Mercy's what you offered the 7 colonies you vanished last cycle. Pass. He cuts the channel. The cruisers open fire. Lances of white-hot energy spear through the nebula, turning hulks into molten rain. The dreadnought's ancient shields flare once and die. Hull plates peel away like burning pages. Marcus and Lyris don't flinch. She raises both hands. The soul anchor answers, channeling every scream of every extinct species into a single perfect chord. The sound punches outward, invisible, unstoppable. Every cruiser's shield grid ripples, then shatters like glass struck by a tuning fork. Marcus is already moving. He slaps an emergency beacon on the console, Terran distress code, Reaper calls. Then he grabs Lyris and sprints for the shuttle bay as the dreadnought begins to tear itself apart. Conclave boarding pods slam into the hull behind them, hundreds of elite shock troops in mirror armor. Marcus skids into the bay, seals the blast door, and welds it with his sidearm. Buy me 30 seconds, princess. Lyris smiles, beautiful, terrible. She sings again. The welded door glows white-hot and holds. Outside, armored troops scream as their own reflections turn on them, mirrors becoming blades. Marcus hotwires an ancient Zyre fighter tucked in the back of the bay. Engines cough, then roar to life. He pulls Lyris into the cockpit, straps her against his chest like armor. Ready to show them what no looks like up close. She kisses him hard, tasting of starfire and rebellion. Born ready, my war-hearted human. They punch out of the collapsing bay a heartbeat before the dreadnought implodes, riding a wave of molten debris straight through the broken cruiser formation. Behind them, the first human warship folds in, TNS Thermopylae, guns already hot, broadcasting a single word on every frequency. No. The nebula erupts into the most beautiful chaos the galaxy has ever seen. The graveyard nebula becomes a furnace. TNS Thermopylae folds in like a hammer made of midnight and vengeance. One Terran heavy cruiser against 12 Conclave elites should be suicide. Instead, it's a masterclass. Marcus watches from the stolen fighter's cockpit as the human ship dances. Thermopylae doesn't dodge. She charges straight into the cruiser box, shrugging off lance fire like rain, then fires a single spinal rail shot that punches clean through 3 cruisers in a line. The rest scatter like startled birds. Lyris laughs against Marcus's neck, violet-silver light pulsing between them. Your people fight like drunk gods. We prefer creatively decisive, he answers, banking hard. Conclave interceptors swarm. Marcus weaves through the storm, Lyris singing soft counterharmonics that turn enemy targeting computers into screaming static. Missiles veer off, collide with each other, bloom into silent fireworks. A cruiser locks tractor beams. The fighter lurches. Marcus slams the throttle. Hold on. He dives straight into the cruiser's open hangar, skids across the deck in a shower of sparks, and rams the internal bulkhead. The tractor cuts out, the cruiser lists, venting atmosphere. They leap from the cockpit into the enemy ship. Shock troopers in mirror armor charge. Lyris raises her voice, not loud, just perfect. Every mirrored surface fractures into razor petals that turn on their wearers. Blood paints the walls silver and red. Marcus moves through the carnage like a storm in human form, sidearm barking, knife flashing. 30 seconds later the hangar is quiet except for cooling metal and 2 heartbeats locked in sync. They reach the bridge. Archon Veil, 9 weights, energy form flickering with rage. You insects dare. Marcus doesn't let him finish. He fires a single round into the Archon's containment core. The energy being implodes into a silent violet nova. Lyris catches Marcus as the deck tilts. We just hijacked their flagship. Borrowed, he corrects, kissing her quick and fierce. With extreme prejudice. Outside, the remaining Conclave cruisers break formation and run. Thermopylae lets them go, broadcasting on open channel. Tell your masters the price of peace just went up. The nebula falls silent except for the soft, steady thrum of 2 hearts that just taught an empire what no really means. The hijacked Conclave flagship, now renamed TNS Defiant No, folds into the heart of the Eternal Accord's capital system. Celeste Prime, a perfect ringworld orbiting a captive white star. Trillions watch as one stolen cruiser drops out of fold alone, weapons cold, broadcasting a single repeating message in every language the Accord ever forced on anyone. We said no. This is why. Marcus stands on the bridge, Lyris's hand in his violet-silver lattice blazing like a second sun. The crew, human marines who boarded during the chaos and never left, wait for orders. Across the system, the Accord's Grand Fleet mobilizes. 10,000 capital ships, shield walls overlapping like scales on an ancient dragon. They demand surrender. Marcus opens a galaxy-wide channel instead. You wanted cooperation, he says, voice calm, terrible. Here it is. He nods to Lyris. She sings. Not a battle cry this time. A lullaby. The same note her people once used to calm dying stars. Amplified by the soul anchor fragments now grafted into Defiant No's hull, the song rolls across Celeste Prime like warm water. Every forced neural implant in every slave species resonates. Colors unlock. Conversion camps open. Citizens who were told humans were monsters suddenly remember how to hope. Half the Grand Fleet powers down weapons. The other half opens fire in panic. Thermopylae and 100 hidden Terran ships fold in behind Defiant No, a black tide that simply appears where it hurts most. They do not fire wildly. They fire once, precisely, crippling engines and comm arrays. In 90 seconds, the Accord's proud armada is drifting, leaderless, begging for terms. On Celeste Prime's surface, statues of the High Arbiters crack and fall as citizens flood the streets, some cheering, some weeping, all free. Marcus pulls Lyris close, kisses her slow and deep while the white star crowns them in light. Think they finally heard us, he murmurs. She smiles against his lips, tendrils curling around his neck. They heard both of us. The Eternal Accord dies not with a bang, but with the soft sound of chains hitting the ground. Celeste Prime's perfect ringworld is no longer perfect. The captive white star burns free now, its containment rings shattered by human engineers working beside newly freed Zyri song-shapers. Light, real, wild light, floods gardens that have never seen a sunrise without permission. On the Grand Plaza where the High Arbiters once sat in judgment, Marcus and Lyris stand together on a simple dais of white stone. Around them, representatives of 1,000 species gather, no thrones, no chains, just people. Marcus wears plain black fatigues. Lyris wears a gown of living starlight that moves like breathing nebulae. The violet-silver lattice between their hearts glows soft and steady, visible to every holodrone. Marcus raises one hand. Silence falls. "We didn't come here to rule," he says, voice carrying to every corner of the former accord. "We came to say one word, no. No to cages disguised as peace. No to silence disguised as harmony. From today, every species chooses its own path." A roar rises, joy, relief, disbelief. Lyris steps forward, tendrils lifting like wings. "And we choose together," she adds. "Humanity and Zyre, Varkus and Lyran, all of us. Not because we must. Because we want to." She places Marcus's hand on her belly, still flat, but the lattice already hums with a third heartbeat, small and fierce and unafraid. The crowd sees it. The roar becomes something gentler, something like hope. Former conclave fleets arrive in formation, not as conquerors, but as volunteers. Their captains kneel, offer their ships to the new concord of free stars. Marcus pulls Lyris close, kisses her slow and reverent in front of a galaxy that finally understands the difference between control and cooperation. Behind them, the broken statues of the old arbiters are already being melted down to build playgrounds. The war that began with a single no ends with a single word whispered between lovers. Yes. 20 years after the day the galaxy begged and humanity answered with war, Celeste Prime is no longer a ring world of marble and tyranny. It is a living crescent of green continents and silver oceans, its broken ring now a necklace of free orbital habitats that circle a sun that belongs to no one and everyone. Marcus Kane stands barefoot on a cliff of white crystal, wind tugging at his silver-threaded hair. In his arms sleeps a small girl, mercury skin, human green eyes, 6 delicate tendrils just learning to curl when she dreams. Their son, older, all legs and fearless grin, races a sky sled with a pack of mixed-species cousins, laughter bright as the dawn. Lyris walks up behind him, barefoot too, gown of living nebula flowing around the gentle curve of their third pregnancy. She slips her arms around his waist, rests her chin on his shoulder, tendrils twining with his fingers. "Still the worst hookup in galactic history," she teases, voice warm as starlight on skin. "Best yes I ever gave," Marcus answers, turning to kiss her slow and deep, tasting of salt wind and forever. Below, the cliff bears a single line carved in every language the Accord once tried to erase. "They begged for peace. We chose freedom instead. And love won." Every year on Liberation Day, children from every world lay flowers at its base and hear the story. How one human captain carried a dying Zyri woman out of a graveyard of hope, how her song and his refusal broke an empire, how together they taught the stars a new word. Tonight the sky fills with ships, not fleets, but family. Old enemies turned friends arrive to share harvest feasts under a sun that finally belongs to everyone. Marcus lifts his daughter so she can see the constellations. "Which one's Earth?" she asks, sleepy. He points to a distant blue spark. "That one. We'll take you there soon." Lyris rests his hand over the new life kicking beneath her heart, the lattice between them glowing soft violet silver. "They'll grow up never knowing cages," she whispers. "Good," Marcus says, kissing her temple. "Means we did it right." Under a sky full of free stars, a human who once said no and a Zyri who taught him yes hold their family close while the galaxy sings the simplest, bravest song it ever learned. Yes to love. Yes to tomorrow. Yes to each other.